This is 6 Minutes, the seriously international daily newscast. It's Thursday, June 26th. I'm Bertrand Hauger. It's a stormy afternoon in Calcutta, while the sun is about to rise in a cloudy Port-au-Prince. Here in the Worldcrunch newsroom in Paris, it's just after midday. These are the latest headlines. Gaza mediators are intensifying their ceasefire efforts. EU leaders are meeting to discuss tougher sanctions on Russia, and our daily quiz question comes from a cave in Poland. In our top story today, CIA Director John Ratcliffe said the US strikes have, quote, severely damaged Iran's nuclear facilities. Ratcliffe said the Iranian quest for a nuclear weapon has been set back years by the strike. Comments that contradict the leaked intelligence report that downplayed the raid's impact and angered President Trump. US-Iran talks are tentatively slated for next week to seek a commitment from Tehran to end its nuclear ambitions. In Gaza, a senior Hamas official has told the BBC that mediators are intensifying efforts to reach a ceasefire and hostage deal, though negotiations with Israel remain stalled. In our More Than a Minute feature today, French political analyst Pierre Haski looks at how the US success in ending the missile exchanges between Israel and Iran could be extended to the conflict in Gaza. His France Inter piece was translated by Worldcrunch, and English audio was produced with automated voice technology. Pierre, tell us more about the connection between Gaza and Iran.
Les armes se sont tues lundi entre Guns fell silent between Israel and Iran on Monday after an unprecedented war. The same cannot be said in Gaza, the largely forgotten region of the past 2 weeks. The nightmare felt by both the Palestinian civilian population and Israeli hostages continues inexorably. One would search in vain through official statements for valid justifications to keep fighting this war, the purpose of which eludes even many Israelis. More than 2 million Gazans are now huddled together in a small part of this tiny territory in inhumane conditions. Every day residents are killed around distribution sites for humanitarian aid, which has been handed from the United Nations over to a private company protected by the Israeli army. The number of sites has been drastically reduced, which contributes to provoking these incidents. Aid has become a death trap, accuses Filipe Lazzarini, the director of UNRWA, the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees, which has been sidelined by Israel. Since Monday, we have seen images of Israelis relieved by the end of Iranian missile alerts, rushing to the beaches of Tel Aviv. Yet a bit further south down the coast, it is still hell on earth.
What's the current state of the movement protesting Israel's war in Gaza?
Before the start of the war with Iran, there had been a steady mobilization of a portion of Israeli public opinion in favor of ending the conflict. Israelis marched with photos of Palestinian children killed in Gaza. This obviously came to a sudden stop with the arrival of Iranian missiles. At the same time, international criticism was growing, particularly in Europe, with France raising the prospect of recognizing a Palestine state. A conference in New York, co-chaired by France and Saudi Arabia on the two states of Israel and Palestine, which was to be held last week, was part of this climate of pressure. Here too, the conflict with Iran has put that progress in jeopardy. Everyone has forgotten about Gaza, and the dead have continued to be counted in hundreds, while all eyes have been turned elsewhere. The New York conference has been postponed indefinitely, and France's recognition of Palestine remains a goal, but without a timetable. Even the European decision on the EU's association agreement with Israel and its Article 2 on respect for human rights have been pushed back.
So what can stop this war?
Talks regarding a ceasefire in exchange for the release of the remaining hostages could resume in Qatar in the coming days. Much will depend on Donald Trump's willingness to engage in these negotiations. Having supported Israel's bombing of Iran's nuclear sites, the U.S. president has demonstrated that he now can exert influence over Benjamin Netanyahu, the stakes may be even higher. Ending the war in Gaza and providing a political perspective for the Palestinians remains a condition set by Saudi Arabia for normalizing relations with Israel. This remains a goal for Netanyahu, a way of crowning the new Middle East he claims to have championed after weakening Iranian influence. The Israeli press also mentions, under these circumstances, possible early elections. But this political state must not obscure reality. The suffering of Palestinian civilians and Israeli hostages has gone on for far too long. All countries with even a modicum of influence must exert pressure to end it as quickly as possible. C'est un impératif humanitaire.
In other news, the 27 leaders of the European Union have arrived in Brussels for a one-day summit to discuss tougher sanctions on Russia, as well as the Israel-Iran conflict and the humanitarian catastrophe in Gaza. Upon his arrival, Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán vowed to block Ukraine's accession to the EU. We're closing things out today with our daily quiz. Researchers have found that the world's oldest boomerang, discovered in Poland in 1985, is actually older than previously thought. But which other feature makes it special? Is it A, that it's made of human bones? B, it has instructions carved on it? C, it doesn't come back? Or D, it glows in the dark? The correct answer is C. Researchers say that due to its shape, the boomerang, discovered in 1985 in a cave in Poland, which is now thought to be 40,000 years old, would not have come back to the thrower. That's the latest from around the world. For more of the best of the international press, delivered exclusively in English, visit us at worldcrunch.com. We'll see you here tomorrow. À demain!